Watch the rhythm of my serve and attack. Only after my feet have landed do I drop my racket for the backswing. Feet land, then the hand drops. Let's discuss how to execute a high-quality forehand while on the move. For wide shots to your forehand, primarily use lateral footwork to get into position. For forward and backward movements, prepare your backswing while your body moves in to meet the ball. A professional player, when dealing with a half-long ball, might anticipate and step in immediately. If you've already started your backswing and see a short ball, continue to adjust your position as you prepare the shot. In amateur matches, the rally patterns are much more complex than in professional play. Slow pushes, flicks, side cuts, high balls, making perfect positioning difficult. Don't just watch the ball if you can't reach it. If your initial step is short, use your body's center of gravity to make a secondary adjustment to ensure a quality return. Don't freeze just because your first step wasn't enough. This is the center of gravity adjustment loop. Generally, the forehand attack against backspin occurs during the serve and attack phase of the game. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate a couple of attacks. Watch closely. Observe the serve and attack, and see how it differs from your usual approach. By reading the quality of his push, I know that for many shots I can't retreat too far, or I'll lose my position. But if he does a long push, I'll read his motion and create space. If his push is weak, I'll step in and loop from this position. The moment I see a long push, I immediately adjust to this spot. The moment I see a soft return, I'm right here. My positioning is precise. Let's address the first issue, recovery after your serve. Don't just stand and admire your serve. Many amateurs finish their serve and are left flat-footed and out of position. From that stance, you'll feel that any wide shot to your forehand is impossible to reach. Therefore, you must first reset your body to a neutral position covering the backhand side. Once you find your position, you can then cover both your forehand and backhand. The current problem is that your ready stance is ineffective. This leads to you being unable to handle short, half-long, or high balls to your forehand. That's point 1. Point 2, many amateur players stand up too straight after serving, which causes them to get jammed by the ball on their forehand. Why do you need to stay low? Watch, stay low to recover, then execute a direct forehand loop. See how fluid that is? Let me show you in slow motion. Notice how my center of gravity remains stable. Your problem right now is that your center of gravity fluctuates too much. This is why you can manage topspin rallies but struggle with backspin, which is where most points are lost in matches. Against topspin, you can get away with a smaller stroke or by standing further back. So, after serving, you must immediately get into a dynamic, offensive ready stance to be prepared to attack. Second point, before my opponent even touches the ball, I am already prepared to attack. This is just like reading the opponent's motion during a serve return. Now, let's talk about your focus. You're watching his general body movement instead of focusing on his racket. Your eyes must be locked on the area below his forearm. This is critical. This allows you to determine if he will push or loop, so you can decide your next move. So, the second key after serving is to concentrate your focus on the opponent's point of contact. Track the ball. If it goes wide, I move. If it's to the middle, I clear my body. So, point 2 is learning to track the ball properly. Third, your body cannot be heavy or sluggish, like you're about to fall asleep. You have to understand that the serve and attack is a key to winning. If, after your serve, you are just waiting for your opponent to miss or your mind is blank, you will not succeed. Your mindset should be, I must attack this ball. Regardless of your skill level, you must have the intention to initiate an attack. Only by being decisive and actively using your footwork to find the ball will you achieve a good result. If you wait for the ball to arrive, you'll always be too late. For example, if you read side backspin, commit to looping it. If you are hesitating between pushing and looping, you've already lost the advantage. If you have the thought of pushing it back safely, you won't be able to execute a strong loop. You have to be committed to your attack. If you play with the fear of losing, your level will never improve. Losing is part of the process. You must give yourself the direct order to attack the third ball. Let me demonstrate. There is no room for hesitation, you must attack, even if you miss. Don't wait until you've perfected it in practice before trying it in a match. Even if your training is perfect, you'll still struggle with timing in a real match. You must use matches to practice your attack. In the first month, maybe you'll only land 2 out of 10 attacks. The next month, 5. By the third, you'll be landing 7 or 8. You can always fall back on your pushing game. But once you develop an attack, you gain the confidence to play from further back. Otherwise, you'll be stuck just pushing. Second issue, how to position yourself correctly for the contact point. Watch my footwork. Your feet must be constantly adjusting, as it's very rare to get into perfect position with just one step. For amateur players who feel their feet are heavy, you must incorporate small adjustment steps, split steps, to stay mobile. Going from a static position to a sudden explosive movement is too difficult. After your serve, use a simple bounce or split step to keep your body active. This will make it much easier to find your position and will quicken your start. Your feet must always be active like springs, or think of them as a driver. Your hand is the boss, and your small adjustment steps are the driver. The driver must always arrive first. It's there to pick up and deliver the boss. Right now, it feels like your feet are the boss and your hands are the driver, which leads to instability. Your feet must act like the driver, getting into position first, so your hand can always execute the shot from the most comfortable position. This is the third point I want to make. Do you typically attack after a long serve or a short serve? Beginners focus on technique, intermediate players on adjustment, and advanced players on strategy. You need to understand your opponent. If they are a beginner, serving long might work, as they may not handle it well. However, if your opponent handles your long serve well, you must initiate your attacks from a short serve. The reason is that a pushed return from a short serve is slower and won't jam you as much. Look at the contact point, the peak of a long ball return is here, while for a short ball, it's here. The difference is significant. So I recommend serving short. If it's heavy backspin, your opponent will find it difficult to flick or banana flick. Their only option is to push, making their return predictable. A long serve is less predictable. They can either loop it or push it, making it harder for you to prepare. So, learn to attack off your short serve. You'll find your offense becomes much more effective. For example, if I serve long and then loop to their forehand. But if I serve short and then attack the same corner with speed, the pace of the ball is much faster, almost double. In table tennis, lateral movement is the easiest. Forward-backward movement is what confuses players. For instance, a short then long combination disrupts a player's return rhythm, whereas they can often block simple side-to-side shots. A serve to the short forehand followed by a loop to the wide backhand is far more effective than just looping from the backhand corner, which doesn't even force your opponent to move their feet. To practice a high-quality attack, capitalize on your opponent's low-quality push return from a short ball. A short push is safe, but it's hard to generate quality with it. When their return quality drops, a cross-court loop is almost always a point winner. In contrast, after a long serve, the return comes back much faster and will jam you. This is why true opportunities for a full power loop are rare. The ideal contact point is often behind your normal stance. So we have to change our strategy. You must be mentally prepared to take a step back after a long serve to create the space needed for a power loop. See, even then, the ideal contact point is still behind my current position. This is why amateurs tend to lift the ball when they loop, they constantly feel jammed. This happens especially when looping a backspin return from a long serve. If this is the case, why serve long in the first place? Trust me, serving short and then attacking is much easier than dealing with a return from a long serve. When attacking the return of your long serve, your stroke can't be too big, it needs to be more compact. Second, the trajectory of a long push is often floaty and unpredictable, unlike the direct arc of a short push. In this situation, you must not start your backswing too early. If you do, you'll be jammed. If you want to attack this ball, your backswing should go backward behind your body, not out to the side. Let me demonstrate. Let your feet get into position first. After serving long, avoid an early or wide backswing. A wide, horizontal backswing is especially bad. This is because a long return can use your serve spin against you, making the speed of the second bounce highly unpredictable. My advice is to keep your backswing preparation close to your body and don't initiate it too early. Watch the rhythm of my serve and attack. Only after my feet have landed do I drop my racket for the backswing. Feet land, then the hand drops. This way, I don't rush the shot and my positioning is accurate. If you initiate your backswing first, your feet will be locked in place. So after you serve, keep your racket ready above the table. If the return has no spin, you can attack it directly. If the ball has spin, then drop your hand into the backswing position as your feet land. Keep the racket in front, then drop it into the backswing as you move. Let me demonstrate. If I pull my racket back early and he pushes to my backhand, I'm completely frozen. So, always keep your hand in front of your body after the serve. Do not start the backswing early. Keep your racket in front, identify the ball's position, and then execute the backswing. This way, you won't rush the shot, you can still move your feet, and you won't get jammed. This is a very effective technique. By keeping your racket in front, you can also execute a backhand attack with excellent rhythm and timing. The problem right now is your backswing is too early. Even if you get your feet in the right position, you'll mistime the shot. Second issue, amateurs often get jammed. When you're jammed, should you swing faster or slower? When you're rushed, your motion must be faster and more compact. It's that simple. Same for your forehand from the backhand corner. If you're rushed, the motion must be fast and small. We drop our center of gravity to prepare for a power loop. But if there's no time because you're jammed, forget about dropping low. If there's no time to drop your center of gravity, don't do it. Let me teach you a crucial trick. When the ball comes at you fast, you must match its tempo. Match the tempo, and the ball won't go into the net. Don't feel like you have to surrender when you're jammed. For instance, don't give up just because the ball comes fast. Another common mistake is to soften your shot when the opponent adds pace. You can't do that. My feeling is, the more you're jammed, the less you should retreat. Instead, make your stroke faster, more compact, and focus on clean contact. As I just showed, many times your feet are slow, your hands are slow, everything is slow. In that situation, there is no time for fine motor skills like using your fingers and wrist. You have to abandon them. When you're out of time, trying to use your wrist and fingers is a passive move. You must use your forearm to block the ball solidly. Block it solid. I'm not adding any wrist or finger action. However, if the ball is slow, then of course I will get set and hit a power loop. But when the ball is fast and jamming you, just matching its tempo will keep you from hitting the net. Don't think about adding extra power with your wrist. Just complete the compact blocking motion to get the ball over. And I'm using zero wrist friction on that shot. Just use your forearm to quickly create the arc. That's all. Why do you often make errors when trying to apply friction? It's the same problem. You are brushing the ball, but the ball's incoming spin is rotating faster than your brushing action because you are too slow. If your brushing action is sharp and concentrated, you can loop any ball. But because you're slow, you struggle. The conditions for hitting a shot in a match are always difficult. My skill level might not be enough, but my attitude is to proactively solve the problem. Don't think that you must replicate your perfect training stroke every time. How good does your serve have to be to create those perfect power loop opportunities? We must learn how to return the ball under difficult conditions, not just wait for the perfect setup.